Well, it's going back a long time. I think it would have been Monaghan Minis back. I was about 7 or 8 years old. My dad took me my first game. I think it was against Portadown Rugby Club, and I just remember crying because I was so cold and didn't want to play. So, good start. Things haven't really changed. No, going through school, I was predominantly a 15 fullback. I played when I left school for Ireland under 21s at 15, but it was Mark McCall, actually the now Saracens head coach, who moved me onto the wing. The big heroes for me in rugby terms were Simon Gagan when I was a young fella coming to watch Ireland, and then the All Black 15 Christian Cullen, who some of his tries I still watch and wonder. I think from the commitment that your family has to make, my dad, both my parents would have come to watch, whether I was playing Gaelic football, whether I was going athletics, horse riding, playing rugby, soccer, anything. I think that my family have always been there for me, my sister and my brother. So I think having that support base is always key. And it's pretty much when you talk to anybody in a professional sport or at any level of sport, their family is always the big driver behind it. Yeah, I probably had to make the decision when I was about 17. I was on the kind of panel for the Monaghan minor football team, but they wanted me to train during the winter, which would have been the rugby season. So at that stage it was great. I played Gaelic football in the summer and rugby in the winter. It worked very well. But around 17, 18 I had to make the decision, and at that stage rugby was always my number one choice. I never thought it was going to be a career. I think at that stage it was just I enjoyed both sports, and rugby just was my number one. So that's when I had to make the decision, and rugby, I suppose, has worked out to be quite a good one in the end. No, not really. At that stage, becoming a professional sports person wasn't really high on my agenda. It didn't really, being, I suppose, a professional rugby player wasn't what it is nowadays. Back then, for me, my dream was to play for Ireland. I, at that stage, never played for Ireland schools. I barely made it onto the Ulster schools, so my plan was probably going to head off to university, potentially in Scotland or down to Dublin, and the way things worked out, I managed to get myself into the Ulster Academy as a bit of a wild card, and from there got myself into the Irish under-19s, under-21s, and the following year managed to get my first Irish cap, so it all kind of happened very quickly. Probably still one of my biggest highlights in my rugby career, because, as I say, having not played for Ireland schools, at a lot of my stages through that, I never thought that the chance would ever come that I would play for Ireland. So to run out in the old Lansdowne road, my family were all there. It was a big occasion for us, and to score a try in my first cap was definitely a day I'll never forget. To not make the World Cup, I think it was in 07, it was probably it was a big blow for me. Having been always in and around the 30-man squad, and then to all of a sudden not make it for that World Cup was a big disappointment. But going back to play for Ulster, the coaches there kind of put their arm around me. I went and I met quite a few people. I met sports psychologists. I had good chats with my friends and close family. And what we decided is just to go back to basics, to stick to my strengths, and when I started to do that, I felt I started to gain a bit of momentum and started to play some good rugby again. And over the next year or so, I was kind of out of the fold of the Irish setup, but I think that I was working my way back into form, and thankfully got myself back into the team again. I think it's a really exciting path. I think, having watched the Ladies World Cup in Ireland, I went to watch a couple of the games, and the crowds, the atmosphere and the standard of rugby was really top-notch stuff. Also, obviously, with the sevens, the opportunity for the girls to play sevens all around the world in some of the best countries. I think it's something that I would definitely think for Emma, if she wanted to take up rugby and get involved. To represent your country in any sport is such a massive thing, but to be able to do it and to be able to travel around and play some of the top teams in the world, I think rugby would definitely be a sport that I'd try to ask her if she wanted to be interested in. I wouldn't say no to it.